Leviticus Chapter 26. You shall not make for yourselves idols, nor shall you raise up for yourselves a graven image or a pillar, nor shall you place a stone figure in your land to bow down to it, for I am Jehovah your God. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary, I am Jehovah. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you your rains in their season, and the land will yield its produce, and the trees of the field will yield their fruit. Indeed your threshing will overtake the vintage, and the vintage will overtake the sowing time. Thus you will eat your bread until satisfaction and dwell securely in your land. And I will give you peace in the land, so that you will lie down and no one will make you afraid, and I will cause wild beasts to cease out of the land, and no sword will pass through your land. And you will chase your enemies, and they will fall by the sword before you. And 5 of you will chase 100, and 100 of you will chase 10,000, and your enemies will fall by the sword before you. And I will turn my face toward you and make you fruitful and multiply you, and I will establish my covenant with you. And you will eat the old supply long stored and will have to clear out the old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul will not abhor you. And I will walk among you and be your God, and you will be my people. I am Jehovah your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt so that you should not be their slaves, and I have broken the bars of your yoke and made you walk upright. But if you will not listen to me and will not do all these commandments, and if you reject my statutes, and if your soul abhors my ordinances so that you will not do all my commandments, so as to break my covenant, I also will do this to you. I will appoint sudden terror over you, even consumption and fever, that will cause the eyes to fail and make the soul to pine away, and you will sow your seed in vain, for your enemies will eat it. And I will set my face against you, and you will be struck down before your enemies, and those who hate you will rule over you, and you will flee when no one pursues you. And if after these things you will not listen to me, then I will chastise you 7 times more for your sins. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your sky like iron and your earth like bronze. And your strength will be spent in vain, for your land will not yield its produce, nor will the trees of the land yield their fruit. And if you walk contrary to me and will not listen to me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. And I will send wild animals among you, which will bereave you of your children and destroy your cattle and make you few in number, so that your roads will be deserted. And if by these things you will not be corrected by me, but walk contrary to me, then I also will walk contrary to you, and I will strike you, I myself, 7 times for your sins. And I will bring a sword upon you that will execute the vengeance of the covenant, and when you gather together within your cities, I will send pestilence among you, and you will be delivered into the hand of the enemy. When I cut off your supply of bread, 10 women will bake your bread in 1 oven, and they will return your bread by weight, and you will eat and not be satisfied. And if in spite of this you will not listen to me, but walk contrary to me, then I will walk contrary to you in wrath, and I will chastise you, I myself, 7 times for your sins. And you will eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters you will eat. And I will destroy your high places and cut down your altars to the sun and heap up your dead bodies upon the bodies of your idols, and my soul will abhor you. And I will make your cities a waste and will make your holy places desolate, and I will not smell the savor of your satisfying fragrances. And I will make the land desolate, so that your enemies who dwell in it will be astonished at it. You however I will scatter among the nations, and I will unsheath the sword after you, and your land will become a desolation, and your cities will become a waste. Then the land will enjoy its Sabbaths during all the days of desolation while you are in your enemy's land, then the land will rest and enjoy its Sabbaths. During all the days of desolation it will have the rest, which it did not have on your Sabbaths when you were dwelling upon it. And as for those who remain among you, I will send faintness into their heart in the lands of their enemies, and the sound of a driven leaf will put them to flight, and they will flee as one flees from the sword, and they will fall though no one pursues. And they will stumble over one another, as if fleeing before the sword, though no one pursues, and you will not be able to stand before your enemies. And you will perish among the nations, and the land of your enemies will consume you. And those who are remaining among you will rot away because of their iniquity in your enemies' lands, and also because of the iniquities of their fathers they will rot away with them. But if they confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers, in their unfaithfulness which they committed against me, and also that they walked contrary to me, so that I also walked contrary to them and brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised heart is humbled, and then they accept the punishment of their iniquity, then I will remember my covenant with Jacob, and I will remember also my covenant with Isaac and also my covenant with Abraham, and I will remember the land. For the land will be abandoned by them and will enjoy its Sabbaths while it is desolate without them. And they will accept the punishment of their iniquity even because, they rejected my ordinances, and their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet in spite of this, when they are in the land of their enemies, I will not reject them, nor will I abhor them so as to destroy them utterly and to break my covenant with them, for I am Jehovah their God. But I will for their sakes remember the covenant with their ancestors, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the nations so that I might be their God. I am Jehovah. These are the statutes and ordinances and laws which Jehovah made between himself and the children of Israel at Mount Sinai through Moses. Leviticus Chapter 27. Then Jehovah spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when a man makes a special vow, the person shall be for Jehovah according to your valuation. If your valuation is for the male from 20 years old even to 60 years old, then your valuation shall be 50 shekels of silver according to the shekel of the sanctuary. And if it is for a female, then your valuation shall be 30 shekels. And if it is for one aged from 5 years old even to 20 years old, then your valuation for the male shall be 20 shekels and for the female 10 shekels. And if it is for one aged from a month old even to 5 years old, then your valuation for the male shall be 5 shekels of silver, and for the female your valuation shall be 3 shekels of silver. And if it is for one aged from 60 years old and upward, if it is for a male, then your valuation shall be 15 shekels, and for the female 10 shekels. But if it is for him who is poorer than your valuation, then he shall be set before the priest, and the priest shall value him, according to the means of the one who vowed, the priest shall value him. And if it is for an animal which may be presented to Jehovah as an offering, anything which may be given to Jehovah shall be holy. He may not exchange it or substitute it, either a good one for a bad one or a bad one for a good one, but if he does indeed substitute animal for animal, then both it and its substitute shall be holy. And if his vow is for any unclean animal, which may not be presented as an offering to Jehovah, then he shall set the animal before the priest. And the priest shall value it, whether it is good or bad, as you the priest value it, so it shall be. But if he ever redeems it, then he shall add 1/5 of it to your valuation. And if anyone consecrates his house to be holy to Jehovah, then the priest shall value it, whether it is good or bad, just as the priest values it, so it shall stand. And if the one who consecrated it redeems his house, then he shall add 1/5 of the money of your valuation to it, and it shall become his. And if a man consecrates to Jehovah part of a field of his possession, then your valuation shall be according to the seed needed for it, a homer of barley seed at 50 shekels of silver. If he consecrates his field from the year of Jubilee, according to your valuation it shall stand. But if he consecrates his field after the Jubilee, then the priest shall calculate the money for him according to the years which remain until the year of Jubilee, and it shall be deducted from your valuation. And if the one who consecrated the field ever redeems it, then he shall add 1/5 of the money of your valuation to it, and it shall be assured to him. But if he does not redeem the field, or if he has sold the field to another man, it shall not be redeemed any more. But the field, when it goes out in the Jubilee, shall be holy to Jehovah as a devoted field, its possession shall be the priest's. And if he consecrates to Jehovah a field which he has bought that is not part of the field of his possession, then the priest shall calculate for him the amount of your valuation until the year of Jubilee, and on that day he shall give your valuation as holy to Jehovah. In the year of Jubilee the field shall return to the one from whom he bought it, even to the one to whom the possession of the land belongs. And every valuation of yours shall be according to the shekel of the sanctuary, the shekel shall be 20 gerahs. However, no one shall consecrate the firstborn among animals, which as a firstborn belongs to Jehovah, whether it is an ox or a sheep, it is Jehovah's. But if it is consecrated from among unclean animals, then he shall ransom it according to your valuation and shall add to it 1/5 of it. And if it is not redeemed, then it shall be sold according to your valuation. Nevertheless, anything which someone devotes to Jehovah out of all that he has, whether a human or an animal or a field of his possession, it shall not be sold or redeemed. Every devoted thing is most holy to Jehovah. No human beings who are devoted to destruction shall be ransomed, they shall surely be put to death. And all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is Jehovah's, it is holy to Jehovah. And if anyone redeems any of his tithe, he shall add to it 1/5 of it. And all the tithe of the herd or the flock, whatever passes under the shepherd's rod, the 10th one shall be holy to Jehovah. He shall not search whether it is good or bad, nor shall he substitute it, but if he does substitute it at all, then both it and that for which it is substituted shall be holy, it shall not be redeemed. These are the commandments which Jehovah commanded Moses on Mount Sinai for the children of Israel.